phlox. Oh, phlox is native to North America.
Yay, it's our plant. Yep.
I've been told that there is one species in Siberia, but I've never seen it. I saw a picture of it once. It wasn't very pretty. It comes in every color other than true blue. I mean, it comes in dark lavender, purple, violet, red, pink. Well, I wouldn't say orange so much, but the ground cover phlox is really a spring blooming phlox. And people around here, if they have a steep part of their lawn that is difficult to mow, they plant it with Phlox subulata, which is a natural spreader and will look beautiful in the spring and then look like lawn for the rest of the season without the need for cutting. So the taller phlox, and there are many, many species, by the way, but the taller phlox, Phlox paniculata, will grow usually 3 to 5 feet tall. They're intermediate forms. The taller forms tend to be very fragrant, and I love that fragrance. They do have a tendency to get powdery mildew in certain seasons, but there's such an array of colors. By the way, one cure for powdery mildews: don't use any kind of poison. Spread about an inch of some kind of fine gravel. You could use brick dust. You could use even coarse sand. Pea gravel, whatever. And the reason for that is that the spores of powdery mildew overwinter in the ground on the dead foliage of the phlox. So what you do is you carefully rake up all the dead foliage before the plant sprouts in the spring, and then put on a layer of as much as a half an inch or even an inch of gravel. The rain will splatter up the spores from the soil, but it won't. The spores won't exist on the gravel, so you'll have no powdery mildew without any kind of poison.
That's good. So we could use turkey grit or surface. Yep.
But make sure you get rid of the old foliage. That's what carries the spores over winter. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's a wonderful thing. There, as you see in the right-hand corner, there are variegated forms. I don't particularly like them. They look a little bit anemic to me.
Yeah.
But they're and I like the foliage effect. Like the middle one, especially, you notice that lateral type of foliage. It really looks good in contrast with pink flowers.
I like the woodland ones.
And
they don't seem to get as much disease as the
no
paniculatas, the tall ones.
No, there are a whole bunch of maculatum, dibericata. There are a whole bunch of
no, I like the stolonifera.
It's unfortunate that the deer and the ground dogs like them too. They must be very tasty as well as the nice smell.
They must be.
Yeah.
You sent these pictures to us from I can't remember if you were at PPA the conference.
Oh yes.
Were those short? They look short from your pictures. The luminary series, ultraviolet and opalescence. Do you remember?
Isn't that in this new calendar that we
just
got?
Those were introduced by Walter's Gardens, and they are sensational. At the PPA meeting last year, which was in Canada, we saw trial gardens.
See in their catalog.
Got the name of the town, but there's very nice trial gardens, and they were in full bloom. These luminaries, they were just spectacular, and they come from Walters, and they're available from what do you call it?
Proven winners.
Proven winners pots.
Walters does some great breeding. I miss Roy Clem. I miss Song Sparrow. When people were asking about peonies this week, I thought, I should have saved all of Clem's catalogs all those years, and he'd tell you who bred it, and so that you know where what line it came from. Just really nice.
Are we talking about phlox or peonies?
Well, peonies. Peonies for.
Okay.
Yeah.
We actually have it's a clarification about this powdery mildew solution with the fine gravel and can we go back over that? Diane was saying about what were your suggestions, Janet, for fine gravel added to brick dust? And Squeaks is curious, will that work for 9-bark? Judith wants to know if it'll work for peonies.
There's turkey grit. There's turkey.
Yeah, that works.
and you can buy turfus, which they use on athletic fields to keep the soil from mashing down. And turfus is it's an exploded clay. It's just a gravelly stump. I can't really explain it more than that. And I don't know if it would work on peonies. The peony mildew has been bad the last few years here, actually about the last 5 or 6 years, where I didn't used to see a lot of peonies with mildew. I do now, and I have not done anything to treat that except just as soon as I see mildew, I cut the stems off. I cut peonies down to nothing here, even in the middle of summer. I go, okay, all right, you're going to look bad. I'm going to cut you out of the way, and it doesn't seem to
try the gravel bit. We have a product back east called Solite or Norlite, which is some kind of shale which is made into gravel and then screened out and popped like popcorn at some very high temperature. And that's available too here. I don't know whether it's available there.
They use that in green roofs a lot.
That sounds like turfus, where they
probably it's the same deal. Yeah, but
okay.
anything that's inorganic will work.
Inorganic and sterile. I mean, it didn't in the garden. I would think that we're going to have to take that out and spread it around. So I want to use something that I can spread into the garden and let it get mixed in the soil when I put a new layer on next year, because the spores will be on top of it the next year, and you have to switch it.
Well, you have to do it. It's not like you do it once and forever. You know, you have to rake off the dead foliage every spring, or if you want, cut it down and do it in the fall. And then after the dead foliage is removed, then you add the whatever form of inorganic material that you choose to use. All right,
I want to make a
running out of time, so we better.
Well, I wanted to just mention the Phlox Luminaria series. It says that they're a general 32 to 34 inches tall, but I can tell you when we were there seeing those, they were not as high as a 30-inch. And generally in a trial garden, you just let plants do what they're going to do. And if they get disease, you want to see that they get disease. You don't try and treat for any disease. And these were clean. These were really, really nice. It was the end of July last year when we were seeing them. So yeah, I can't speak enough of them, but I think that well, they're saying in Walter's catalog that they're 32, 30, and I think that's a little bit taller than a lot of the paniculatas.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think the paniculatas are generally up to, aren't they like a?
Oh, there's some that get 4 or 4.5 feet.
Oh,
They
okay.
vary depending on the variety.
Yeah.